same page. So if you can look up Val before you leave, that would be real much appreciated. And our main reason for being here is to support Dean's campaign. We really want you to win. And
I do too.
And we know you can win. The R's are breaking on the independents our way.
Really?
They are really doing it. All of the internal polls that I've seen, and you must see a lot more. You can get into it, but I mean, this is our year. This is going to happen. And you know, I was thinking about the Dems always attack. They always attack, right? And
Oh, you don't know anything about being attacked.
oh, well, I mean, I read all the time, and everyone's being attacked. But you know what happens when you are a threat to their power? You know what happens? They raid you at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon gets frog marched down, right? So they take the law and they twist it and they hurt you personally. And that is the badge of honor. Steve Bannon said that he wanted to be frog marched every day because you know, it was a badge of honor for him. And you have been attacked. And now you are a legitimate threat to the left's power because you have been assaulted by their policies and what they've done. So, you know, we admire you. We thank you for running. It's a great thing you've done. It's a personal sacrifice, and we support you. We really do, Dean. And you know, if we can just say, you know, 3 cheers for Dean here, okay? Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Good evening. Just want to begin by, I think my sister Rayla is not here yet. You know, what is worse than running in this state as a Republican? It is being a Republican in a minority. Because that makes me a threat to them and it makes Rayla a threat to them, and that's why they come after us. I also want to, before I begin, recognize a friend of mine, Andrew, for running in the primary. He won his primary, so congratulations.
Andrew.
You know, when speaking of primaries, I just want us to, this is the only time that I wish that we as Republicans act like Democrats.
Yeah.
After the primaries, we need to come together.
We do.
Yes. We need to unite and to make sure that our candidates defeat whoever is on the other side of the ballot. So, Andrew, thank you for running.
Steal votes.
Vote early, vote often.
If you can vote more than once, God bless you.
Just like a Democrat.
So make sure whoever you supported pre-primary and those candidates did not win, don't hold those grudges. Please come out after the primary. Make sure we come together, unite, and get the Republican candidates elected. So good job, Andrew, and good luck to you, and looking forward to running with you and making sure that we do not allow that seat to be taken by the Democrat.
Up and down the ticket.
Good. Yeah. You know, on my way down here, I saw a few signs, but one sign that caught my eye, and I almost drove off the road, and that was more Healy's sign.
I haven't seen one yet.
Don't drive on the road.
I don't know if you know, but you know, somehow I got on her BFF list, and you know, we cannot allow this woman, this lady, to be elected in this state. Absolutely not. She's not only incompetent, but she's a socialist and a communist.
Right.
And she is going to create an environment where most of us are going to move down to Florida. we cannot allow that to happen. And for me, someone like myself, I am working my butt off to not allow this state, needless to say, this country, to become the country that my parents left. That my parents took their kids, me as an infant, got on a small wooden boat, risked our lives while other people died around us, then spent another 2.5 years in one of the roughest refugee camps just to have an opportunity to come over to this country and be able to live the American dream and be able to have the freedoms that we have provided to us under the Constitution. But if we allow someone like Maura Healey to be elected, we are going to lose those rights. We are going to lose those freedoms. And we cannot allow that to happen. Now, this state, as you know, has a supermajority. And whatever we can do to alleviate some of those pain from the Democrats, we have to do it. But on the federal level, we have an opportunity here to take back the country and to make sure that we have a future, not just for us, but for our kids and for our grandkids. Now, I'm not going to stand in front of you and bore you and preach to you about the incredible economy that we're having. Because you can talk to the Democrats about that. They will tell you that we have a superb economy with inflation going down to 8.3%. But what I'm going to tell you, and with your support, and with your confidence in my candidacy, and when you send me down to Washington, D.C., whatever I say that comes out of my mouth, you can believe it. Because I never compromise on my values, and my principles, and my beliefs. And I will represent you. I will make sure that we as a country will have a strong economy where people will pay into our tax system, that we have an abundance of jobs for our kids, that we don't have to choose between paying for a gallon of gas and for most people a gallon of milk. I can promise you that we will enforce the laws of the land and the laws of our borders. I can promise you that I will protect those that are too young to speak for themselves. That I will make sure that your freedom and your rights protected under the Constitution are protected. And most importantly, I will be your voice. I will make sure that you are not forgotten down in Washington, D.C., like the way we have been forgotten by the person who is representing this district. Because I have a record to show that in the state Senate. That I vote for the people, I work for the people, and I serve the people. I have no interest in being your next U.S. Congressman, but I do have an interest in serving you. Now, you have the other option, right? And I'm sure that other option is someone who you do not want to continue representing you.
She's a puppet.
She is a puppet. Not only is she in public, but she's a rubber stamp for the Biden blows here. She's part of the squad. And when you say the squad, you're talking about your public safety at stake. These people want to defund our police departments because they do not care about you. All they care about are the rights of the criminals and taking away your money and placing your money where your public safety is at risk. So I'm one of those candidates who really are not out for myself, and I can say the same thing about Rayla. She's an incredible candidate who wants to represent the people in this state. So make sure you vote for her as well. Make sure you can make any donation that you can make to her campaign. She would really appreciate that. On the federal level, I want to represent you. I want to make sure that we are no longer the voiceless in this district. And that we matter. So with that being said, I am so incredibly grateful for your presence here tonight. And I'm very good at answering questions. So if you have any questions, let's open up for a Q&A.
Dean, real quick.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know if anyone knows about this, but the Democrats are already tracking us. If you make a deposit in Bank of America, if it's over $500, I was told last week that I have to, anyone who makes the deposit has to show their social security card and their ID. So they got the 86,000 IRS agents coming, look at this is coming too. So, unbelievable.
Get out of Bank of America.
Get out of Bank of America. She told
Go
me,
to your
she
local
said,
bank.
Bridget, that's good to know, but please do not let Bridget's comment scare you from making donations.
I already made a donation.
Let's get to the question.
Imagine that? That's
But I know
crazy.
for sure, I can tell you, I know this for sure, that candidates like myself, they are looking very, very closely on my
Yeah, they're tracking you
FEC reports.
Yep,
They are.
now they're tracking us.
We'll keep it at $400.
Who cares?
Yeah, let them track us. What are they gonna do, right?
Follow the
Just
rules
give
and
them cash.
regulations, who cares?
Yeah.
The 87,000 IRS agents are only for the billionaires, so we're all fine.
Yeah, right.
Not the billion, not you.
Yeah, they're gonna take care of the billionaires.
Right.
Yeah, only to help them.
Yeah.
But I just want to piggyback on a comment I made earlier at the beginning of my comments about us coming together, unite, and beat the Democrats. I really mean that. Because I had a conversation earlier on how I was treated when I was first elected to the state legislature. I have always been a person of loyalty to the people who I supported and to the party that I belong to. But when I made history in 2017 and I began serving my term in the state senate, and when I served the people who put me in office, and I stood my ground, and I held strong onto my principles. And then that's when the Democrats came after me. But when they came after me, I thought, boy, you know, I am a state senator now. I am the highest ranking Asian American elected in this state and remains in that position. I held a leadership position in the party. I held several ranking positions on several committees. And I thought, hell, come and attack me because I have my fellow Republican colleagues are going to stand right beside me. So when the Democrats came attacking me, I looked back,
All gone.
We're all gone.
just by myself. We cannot let that happen. If we want to take this state back, and if we want our values to be adhered to, we need to fight. We need to fight as one. And we need to help each other.
I agree with everything you said, but what are we going to do in the state with the mail-in ballot voting? I mean, I think you could run, everyone can run the best campaigns in the world. I mean, like some of the swing states have actually been doing stuff about that before the next election. This state, you know, is not, because they made it part of the regular voting now, mail-in ballots. And it's like, there's so much corruption involved in that, not to mention the early voting, and it's like, I hope and pray that we can come out with such great numbers that we'll still win, but it's going to be really hard to beat that mail-in ballot corruption. It really is. And I think the post office is involved in it myself.
Here's the answer to that.
Yeah?
There's a proposal that's going to be put into Beacon Hill in the House and the Senate with everyone's help and get it to pass and sign into law.
When's that going to, proposal going to happen?
It's drafted now. Okay, so I'm creating a grassroots network now. So when they're sworn in, we could get into the House and the Senate and have enough pressure to get passed and signed into law.
That would be great if it happens, but
Then after
Well,
the election?
the question is, are you going to help do that? That's the question. If I'm all by myself, I won't.
do it. I'll try to help you if I can.
Okay?
Absolutely.
I'll give you my contact information after.
You know, one must be really crazy to think that the mail-in ballot did not affect the 2020 election.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So when I was asked to run for this position, we looked at the landscape, we did our research, we looked at all the data and stats, and the one conclusion that I came up with as a candidate, I told the campaign this. I was very confident that I can take this seat, flip this seat from the Democrats, as long as the mail-in ballot did not pass this legislature in this session. Unfortunately, we all know that it passed. The one thing that we hung our hats on was, and hoping for, that Governor Baker would not sign that bill. Unfortunately, he did. But all we can do now is to run our campaigns to the best of our ability, and just to make sure that there's no dishonesty that would occur at the polls. I know that's going to be tough. I know at least they eliminated that provision about allowing people to register on the same day. That helps a little. But for the most part, the mail-in ballot, they made it permanent, allowing drop-off boxes. Those things that we out of our control. I know some communities will not even put up cameras. But what we need to do is just help each other, making sure that you come out and vote, your families come out and vote, your neighbors, your friends, and everybody else.
Can that be reversed if a red wave comes? Can that be reversed?
They can. But I don't want to be a downer by telling you that Massachusetts has a super majority.
Yes, I know.
And the Constitution allows the legislature to dictate how the election process occurs in the state.
I think that's the majority dwindling in Massachusetts. They're just good at cheating.
Yes.
A lot of polls, the primaries, very rare. We're calling in saying, some towns say it's against the law to take pictures of the ballot. Some people are announcing their names before they put the ballot in the machine. So Republicans were putting it in different machines because they were escorted to a machine. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, to me, that's But anyway, that needs to be, it's not against the law to take a picture of your ballots.
No.
You need to know that. And I think, as everyone runs, we get the Democrats are great at distracting you with authority when you forget, everyone forgets what they were doing just 3 weeks ago, 2 days ago, whatever. Because they just keep throwing stuff at you. And all you're doing is combating. I think what we need to do is throw the stones back.
Yes.
And remind them, just don't even answer their ridiculous questions. Just say, point out when you said they were defunding the police, have a name, a date, and when they were, wanting to defund the police. Have that, so it's just almost like you don't even have to answer questions for a state or a business. It's just, here it is in black and white. And I think that would help, whether it was the ballots or I think that's a big mistake Republicans do. They never seem to get enough. When they have airtime, all they're doing is blah, 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 with what they're distracting them with. Instead of saying, Pennsylvania had this many votes that went to ballot, this many dead people voted in Arizona, this many people in New York. They just don't state the facts. And that's all they can do. Get to the point, state the facts. And that, because you only have a limited time to speak. And I think that's when people forget and say, oh yeah. And will you actually do that? When you get there? A lot of times it's just not do that. One of my biggest things on that January 6th insurrection, which is bullshit, which I saw with my own eyes, whether they were distracted at that moment when Ted Cruz was about ready to take the floor, they didn't say, as a Republican, let's pick up where we left off. Fine, you go handle what you do. But they didn't pick up where they left off. No one says that Trump was hiring, asked, and requested for security. Nobody even says that. They just let them be bamboozled with their questions instead of saying, I'm not answering that. I can't talk about it. And I think that's what Republicans do here. We need to stop getting distracted with their silly questions that distract us from what the message.
So not just not being distracted, but we also need to get involved, with regards to election integrity. There are things that we can do or have control over with, but there are other things that there are other things under our purview, and that is get involved. I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you go to your polls, any poll across the state, you'll see that there are a lot of Democrats working at the polls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wardens and Democrats.
All different, mostly.
Well, how do you get involved?
I was
Well,
just going to say,
a lot of-
become an election worker.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, I know Val and I did it this time, and you're absolutely right. They're mostly Democrats at the polls. And I will also say, mail-in ballots, watching the election officials run those through the tabulators. I will tell you, in my 7-hour shift, I saw not one Republican vote come through. They were all Democrat mail-in votes. Now, obviously, our percentages are more Democrat than Republican, but think about that. Okay, and I was on the machine and I was watching how those were fed through. So I would urge everybody, get involved.
At the town hall?
Yep, I was at my polling station where I was
Where were you?
I was at the senior center. So again,
Do you see a single Republican ballot in your precinct?
in mail-in votes,
Mail it.
because they have to be run through on election day.
Yeah, and what does the software do?
Well, I
That
mean,
reason.
again, that's
So,
There's another thing too, because I serve on the city council, and in a lot of towns and cities, not only you can work as poll workers,
right.
but they also have something called election commissions. Okay, these election commissions are basically comprised of 3 members. They oversee all the election process, including poll workers. So if you don't get involved in getting onto that commission or become poll workers, then what you're doing is you're allowing all these positions to be taken by the opposition.
so there's something related to this I want to share. All right. So my name is John Abrahams. I'm the treasurer of the GrotonRTC. and I'm also a member of FLM, Commonwealth of Massachusetts Freelance Media. And a few months ago, I attended an election integrity event at the Lincoln Senior Center. Something told me I had to be there. I was probably going to go anyway, but I got there, and the town cable company had denied the guy their right to use their cameras. They had no camera there. I was able to film the whole thing. It's on my channel. It's long. There were 4 presenters. The first presenter explained our election system in detail, and it's amazing the holes that it has in it as far as integrity goes. It's loaded with holes. And if you want to get an understanding of how our system works, she laid it all out. There were overheads and everything, and it's all in the video. And the keynote speaker was an Army captain from military intelligence named Seth Keschel from Wisconsin. And he showed us how there were extreme anomalies in the trend lines for the presidential election in 2020 in areas where there was no increase in population, and suddenly Biden got 100,000 more votes than Hillary did, and all this. It's all statistics. You can't prove anything by that alone, but I recommend you check it. It's called Election Integrity.
That's pretty good.
It's called Election Integrity. It's on my channel, which is Blues Movers on YouTube. It was taken down the first day, and I was given a strike for violating community guidelines. I objected. Oh, they just said I violated community guidelines and deleted it. So then I said no, I didn't, and 9 days later they put it back. I put it on BitChute too. But so if you want to learn about all the details of our system, the lady did a good presentation. There were 4 presenters. It's a long video. It's 3 hours. And I think it'll give you an idea of how the system is set up.
Watchers have the legislative law board of election integrity, and I've got a PDF that she emails me, so I can pass along to anyone if you want to be a full watcher. And you don't have to do this in your own town. This is like there's going to be more fraud in Lowell or Lawrence. You can go somewhere else. So see me after that.
You know, a lot of communities requires every table to have a Democrat and Republican sit at the table and just to check a balance. But if there's no Republicans, guess what happens? You have 2 Democrats.
Groton typically had 1 Republican and 2 Democrats. And this year, if I'm correct, Paul should tell me if I'm not correct, I think they decided that seeing they're a majority, they don't need any Republicans in it. So it's all Democrats in Groton.
They didn't need any help.
They don't need our help.
So why can't you just be a bystander?
You can. As long as you don't interfere with the process, you can actually stand in that room all day long if you want. You can actually stand and look over people's shoulders as long as you do not interfere with the process.
Now you have the problem of mail-in and early voting, and you have all this. That's all a problem. Dropbox is all a problem for fraud, right? But I'm a software engineer. I've been doing it for 42 years in 7 different industries, and you have a machine that's going to read that ballot, and it's going to decide the count. There's a database in that machine, all right? Anything can happen in software, all right? And a Wi-Fi chip is about the size of the mark you make on the thing. It could be right on the board. That machine could be connected to the internet, and nobody near that machine would even know that it was phoning home or whatever it was doing. And they did find machines with Microsoft database editing software installed on them. And they did find machines that had IP addresses from China logging into them on election night in 2020 in Michigan. So, you know, when a machine's involved, all bets are off on whether you even have an accurate count of the ballots.
There should be a hand count.
It should all be hand count. That's the Rayless platform. Paper ballots, hand count. No machine.
Vote on election day.
Machine's got to go.
Sir?
If we obsess about election fraud and talk about nothing else, you're going to lose. question is, did you learn anything from the gubernatorial election in Virginia?
Well,
People of this state.
I think we have to obsess over it.
Focused on education. One of the better attributes of the state. In Virginia, the Republican won by focusing on education. Did you learn anything from that?
Did I learn anything from Virginia's election? Matter of fact, I really don't care about Virginia. What I care about, what the issues that affect the people here in the state of Massachusetts.
So you don't think education is an important issue here?
Oh, education is important, yes, sir.
Well, maybe that's a lesson you could have learned from Virginia.
There's a lot of issues that are important to everybody in the state. But in terms of it, we're talking about elections. You know what are the important issues to the people right now in this state? Being able to pay their bills. Being able, the economy, the inflation. Second to those, public safety. Because they're seeing crime rates increasing not just across the state, but across the country. We all know the things that are contributing to the increase in crime. The immense increase in drugs coming over from the border, and we're seeing Biden releasing close to 2 million illegal immigrants into our communities that would not even know that's happening. And they're coming to Massachusetts.
And mostly,
That's great, that's what we should be talking about.
and
Not
most,
trying to
and most, well, I think we will be legislating it. It's going to the Supreme Court.
That problem on the federal level, coupled with giving driver's license to illegal immigrants, it's going to create havoc in this state. People should know about that too.
Yeah. You know, I hear most of the illegals are military-aged males from all sorts of countries. That really makes me worry of what the real purpose is.
Right.
So, we're talking to the choir here. So how are you going to get independence? His response to the thought process is that education, school choice, is something that not good selling. Maybe more so for state and federal as well. So what are the points that you're going to put up to those people? How are you going to get them to be independent? Because like I said, right now you're talking to the right. You got no problem. We're behind. So how are we going to...
You know what, I'm dying to debate my opponent and to allow the moderators to ask the questions and to allow the public to know where each of us stand on issues. And if those issues come, I can guarantee you the public will know where I stand on those issues. I'm a huge supporter of school choice. I've been a supporter of charter schools in my whole entire political career. And those stances will not change. But I can tell you, when it comes to this election, the issues that are affecting the people the most in this state are the same issues that are affecting everybody across the country. We are going to continue to hammer about the economy, hammer about the inflation, making sure that people understand under the Democrats they cannot afford to pay gas and high food prices. They can't afford to pay their bills, and they can't afford to provide for their families. Those are the issues that we're going to keep on fighting and to make sure that and those are the issues that the independents care the most right now.
So that sounds like the old company. Okay? We need to step above. I don't argue with what you said. I agree exactly with everything you said. It's strong support. But I think your critical race theory is...
Greg, can you speak up? Because we can't.
Yeah, we can't hear. No one's going to hear you.
Critical race theory and school choice and education are also very key points that should come into the rest of the campaign, rather than just economy. We need to also get into the social problems that are being
correct that anybody who says Black Lives Matter should support school choice?
Those issues will come out in time. Those issues will come out, and you will see those.
Black Lives Matter is a terrorist.
My opponent and I are completely two different people.
Terrorist.
We're on completely two different political spectrums. And when those issues come out, people will understand and know where we stand or not.
How dispirited are Democrat voters? Because to me, I don't think in this state, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably always, but to me, when I see an independent Massachusetts voter, most of them look at us with an R next to us like we're fascists, and they aren't going to vote for Republican.
I don't receive that because I just collected a lot of signatures and a lot of them were independent.
So maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I see the better chance of us having Democrats so dispirited by how horrible their representatives are that they just stay home. That's what I see happening. If we're going to win, it's going to be because people like my mother, who's crazy, are going to go, oh my God, it's voting day and it's now $7 for a loaf of bread. I need to buy a wheelbarrow to bring my Federal Reserve dollars to the grocery store to buy a loaf of bread. I think that's it. So I would like for us to talk about some of these topics for the purpose of dispiriting them. I want to attack them. I want them to feel the pain of their own votes. I want to use jujitsu on them, to use their stupid ideology, because socialism is stupid, and say, look, your pocketbook's dying. I didn't do it. Trump didn't do it. Nobody, you don't have to bring us down. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to go and vote for this again?
You're right, Rick, because what we're going to do is we're going to point out the votes that these people have taken that has diminished their 401k plans, their pensions, their savings, their inability to
But
be
they
able
are
to
going to
provide for their families.
in my opinion, I don't think you're going to get like this big wave of even independents come and vote. I think you're going to have a bunch of people who are like, I'll let everybody else do the voting because I can't put my stamp on this Democrat agenda. That's my opinion.
But one task that we have to do, and that is on the shoulders of the Republican candidates, is to make sure that people understand that if they continue to elect Democrats, this road that they're on is going to continue. It's not going to stop. And so that's why it's important for us to be able to get this referendum question for the driver's license for illegals to be on the ballot, because that's going to help us drive out the independents. Because the independents, they share the same concerns as we do. They want to be able to walk in the communities and be safe. They want public safety for their families and their children. And so we want to make sure that, hey, you like this economy? You want to be able to not go on another vacation? By all means, go for another Democrat.
On the way here, I subscribed to World Net Daily. It's a really good news outlet online. And there were 20 more people arrested or subpoenaed for the January 6th Commission because they saw their face at the event. So 3 of them are Trump lawyers, old Trump lawyers and Trump lawyers. So what's going on, Dean? And what can we do about this January 6th Commission?
We need the elected Republicans to stand up and protect people's rights. It's not illegal for you to be there. What happened to the people who riot across the country and destroy public and private properties, people and kill other people? What happened to them? Forgotten.
Well, that's because it's a Marxist revolution they're implementing.
Right.
So they have to attack anybody who would stand up for rights, and then they promote violence to cause destabilization. They're trying to destabilize us utterly so that, this is just the beginning. If you wait a year, it's going to be
Because people like us need to stand up and fight. It's been too long for us to sit back, relax, and be brainwashed. We cannot allow that to continue.
There's a lot of independents that will definitely vote Republican. A lot.
write letters to the editor and some of this information in the local papers. And our thoughts about why we see this inflation.
Yes.
Do messages like you said.
And that's a great idea too. That's one of the things that you as a voter and as a supporter can do, is that get involved. You can write letters to the editors, because coming from you is different from coming from me. If I read something coming from you as a voter and as a resident of, let's say, Pepperell or Tingsboro or Lowell, saying that I like the positions that candidate DeanTran is standing up for. He's standing up for the people, he's standing for public safety, and this is what's going to happen to our economy, and this is the kind of environment that he's going to create for my family, my children. That's the kind of support that we as candidates are looking for.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to grasp the information about those key points you're supporting, and where is that information coming from? The Boston area, the Lowell area? I mean, I do agree with these three gents. I'm in that same camp. I know a lot of people that live in this area, rural areas. They don't struggle with as much as violence. They struggle with the message of what you're saying. So I'm trying to understand, where is the information coming from to say those are the key points you're fighting for, when I agree, at least with these three gentlemen, these other points are big. I mean, we know people down in Virginia that were ecstatic when this governor got in. Ecstatic. I mean, not just happy, they were raising the roof because they hit the points that got home. Because Northern Virginia controlled everything, but they took away the 90% that was quiet when they heard what was happening in school, what was happening in this. It wasn't the big budget issues, oh, I couldn't afford gas. They are great, I understand that. But I'm just trying to understand, you have a team that are giving you ideas and you have your, is it covering the state to get the most votes to put you where we need you? That's where I'm struggling with.
So I'm trying to understand that you're struggling with not knowing the key issues that the candidates are running on.
You have key issues. You made them tonight. Mm-hmm. Is that going to take the entire state and support you? Are these other issues, which I believe are key, I've seen them in Virginia, family members down there, a lot of friends, and that turned the state. They had the same platforms about, you know, your budgets, this is what you're getting, you will get Social Security, we can help, but these other small tidbits swung it.
Are you talking about stronger messaging?
Dennis, are you a member of the
Pepperell Town Committee.
We're in the Pepperell group. But I'm just, I've heard what
I understand where you're coming
and
from.
I'm just trying to understand that.
Well,
so usually when you have an effective state party, you would have an infrastructure in place. A lot of other states do this well. You take Florida, maybe Virginia, they have a very strong state committee. And what they do is the messaging comes from that state committee and trickles down to the local committees. And those members would convey those issues to the candidates. And that's, unfortunately, the Democrats in the state, they do that very well. They have a great infrastructure. And if you listen and watch all the Democratic candidates in the state, it seems like they're just one candidate. They talk from one piece of paper. Same talking points.
But there's not one Democrat that's going to swing one vote in this room. Is anybody voting for a Democrat?
No, I might.
It's not us you gotta worry about.
I might.
Right. You might.
It depends on not Dean, another race.
Okay.
So it depends, because I vote the issue. I don't vote for the candidate if I think they're doing dishonest things.
So you would vote for the Democrat
I might.
rather than not vote
I
for the
might if
What's the issue?
if they're doing something dishonest, and I'm not referring to DeanTran. I'm not referring
Let me
to.
finish up. I'm understanding, Dennis.
I'm understanding what you're saying.
You know, so without that infrastructure in place and trickling down that memo, each candidate have to come up with his or own issues that are pertinent to the district that he or she is running in. Now, the fortunate thing is that many of the candidates have access to the polls that the state party has done. And we have access to polls that the national party has done. And we look at those polls, and then we determine which of the issues that are more important for us to focus on within our district. And we run on those, and then we target the voters and making sure that those voters understand those issues. And any other issues that they want to talk about, of course, I'll be happy to talk about that.
There you go. Thank you.
So, after you're sworn in, okay?
Guy, can you speak up?
Okay, so after you're sworn in, here's a major federal issue, okay? Mr. Good come in and brought the Federal Reserve dollar, okay? We have to get back to the national bank, use sovereign federal credit for infrastructure development for what we need now, 40 to 50 years in the future. In parallel with that, repeal the Federal Reserve Act, separate the big banks, and make the currency fixed again.
Guy is asking me questions on hypotheticals.
Yes. No, it's enough.
So, thank you very much for your questions.
We're not gonna have